Good evening and welcome to Podcast for Dads. I am Jay, aka HinduDad. Joining us again this evening is my co-host Bav, and this is episode 34, bro. 35.
35.
35.
Yeah.
Oh, forgetting it, man. Pull it out. Yeah, man. So episode 35, bro. We've made it to 35. We've had a few hiccups along the way. A few
Took
weeks where
longer
we've been
than anticipated, but we're there.
yes.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there, but to be honest, when we first concepted this whole thing, we were concepting it so that we would do live records and all be in the same place at the same time. And obviously, the last year and a half hasn't helped any of that. And so, we've had to go into a remote position to be able to do these podcasts and streams. So, we ain't doing too bad. We could have given
No,
up,
it's not
and we
too bad.
didn't.
No, that's true. That's true. But I do want to ask, obviously, look, everyone listening, thank you guys for tuning in again. But do you guys want to see us do a few shows together? Get a couple of people that want to jump onto the show, and find a place for it, find a studio somewhere, and jump on it. And if you guys want to see that, then comment on the section below, and we'll make it happen very, very soon.
Slide into those DMs, he's saying. Just slide.
Just let us know if you want to jump on as well, because more than happy to have you as a guest.
Yeah, man. So again, this is what brings us to today's topic, really, man. Like last week, we were talking about Jaden's birthday party coming up. It's a bit of an unknown at the moment, isn't it? Because a lot of places where you would have been able to rent out and hire to be able to host a party are saying we're not accepting parties, the risk of spread of COVID and so forth. And they just really and truly, they just don't want to accept the liability, right? And they don't want the liability of someone coming into their premise and infecting others, which is completely understandable because in an ideal situation, you don't want really anyone to come into your house and infecting your family, right?
Of course.
But that being said, that also makes it a lot more difficult, especially the fact that now you feel that you can have somewhat of a gathering at home. Do you know what I mean? And get a number of people together, which we've not been able to do for almost 2 years. So most people haven't seen their immediate family for, at least a 15 to 18 month period, right?
Mm.
For us, holding Jaden's party last weekend, there was the most people that I've seen from my family in a very long time, very, very long time.
All in one place.
All in one place. Obviously, being the host is extremely difficult at a first birthday party. I had so many conversations, and it was great to see everyone. But the one thing that really stuck out in my mind is that I spent the whole party saying hello, and then once I'd finished saying, or didn't even finish saying hello, but I'd already started saying goodbye. And most of my conversations started and finished like this. Hey, how you doing? You're all right. Thank you so much for coming. Really grateful that you're here. How have you been? Oh, really? Sorry. Do you know what? Excuse me for a minute. I've just got to go and do something. I'll be right back. And literally that played out so many times. It's unreal.
It's like you rehearsed the words.
Well, I have now because I'm fully versed in it. I said it so many times last week. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, the conversations were different, but the gist of it was all the same, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you've got so many tasks in mind that you want to get done. There's things that people ask you to do. There's drinks that need getting out. There's food that needs passing over. There's, pictures to be taken here and there that needed doing. So, you just kind of get on with what you can and deal with. And, hopefully someone else picks up the things that you're not doing, right?
Yeah.
But it really brought home how much, not just the cost implication, but how much effort and things you have to put into the party. We had a 9x4 meter marquee in the garden, right? We put the roof up 2 weeks ago, and then last week, so a week before the party, we put the rest of the tent up. So it sat in our garden for the week, but obviously you've got all of the bits and things in between. Then you've got to go and get the chairs, the tables, the decorations, and all of that. So all of us had Friday off, and we spent the whole day decorating the marquee, decorating the house, getting pictures printed. Bruv, it's a hassle, man. You've got to really plan this stuff. And
How would you compare planning the first birthday to planning your wedding?
Do you know what? They're not very dissimilar. I'm not even going to lie. And funny you say that, actually, because two of the team that I work with on the wedding circuit actually came over and gave me a hand, and they took off. They looked after photo video for me for a few hours, which meant that for the first time at a function at home, I was actually a host rather than, the staff member that was there doing pictures and video, right? Normally it's me doing video and a couple of pictures. My cousin Prakash gets involved and does some pictures. And, as much as we're there to enjoy ourselves and let our hair down, like, it's just another event that we're working. And before you know it, the event's over and all you've done is sat behind a camera and live the whole party through a lens. And that is something that I didn't really want to do this time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, an event where I want to get some footage and this, that, and the other. This is the first event that I've held where my son got to meet the bulk of his family. You know what I mean?
You want to be a part of it.
Yeah, you want to be present. You don't want to miss that stuff. Like, you want to be there, like, with them, seeing the way they interact with people, seeing people interact with him and the way he responds. Do you know what I mean?
Not that you probably got to see much, because the time I was there, I didn't see him with any of his parents throughout the whole thing, and he was just going to everyone, chilling out. Guy was so chilled.
Dude, you say that, yeah. I was with him a fair amount of time, but what I found was that you was normally in the garden with a brewski.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I didn't drink. I was sort of sober one that day.
Oh, was you?
Yeah. No, because it's Navratri, right? So no drinking, bro. So I was on a full sober. I was just socializing with everyone in the garden. I made the most of it because the weather was good, luckily.
Well, I mean, I did see you in the garden for a lot of the time, and literally, no, like, so I did get to see him with a few people. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I did give him time away from us, and it was good to see him getting to know other people. Like, it was so surprising. So, pandemic baby, right? Let's talk about this for a start. Pandemic babies are different. They're a different breed in the sense that all of the things that, like, mums normally get to do while they're on maternity, like the classes, the sensory classes and so forth. A lot of that stuff Reshma missed out on, and a lot of the stuff before that, with like during pregnancy, she'd missed out on all of those things that were generally available pre-COVID. And so the whole process has been completely different. Now, with Jaden, he's been very stressed out and anxious, meeting new people in new environments where he'd just cry. Like, it's so stressful for him. He didn't know what to do with himself. Do you know what I mean? And we've spoken about it before. He's been through we've been to a few different houses where we literally get to the door, don't even make it past the threshold, and he cries. Like, crying for 10-15 minutes, to the point where both Reshma and I are like, look, he's not going to settle. I don't want to put him through this. Let's just go home. Like, it's not nice to see him that way. You know what I mean? And then literally that day, when we was getting ready for the party at about lunchtime, like, we took him out to the marquee, and he kind of got to see all the decorations in place, and things were starting to become a bit more bigger for him. And he's like, hang on a minute, like, what's going on here? Like, houses are a lot smaller than this normally, and I don't get to come out here as much like this. And literally, you could see it in his face. It was almost like a level of anxiety. Like, he looked upset. Do you know what I mean? His lips were quivering. So we took him back upstairs, and then we kept him there until, like, the party kind of got underway, right? He had a little nap. And then we got him ready. The boys came over with, like I say, photo video. Nick and Priyesh, really appreciate you guys coming through. And what they did for me is, well, they took pictures and video. But the fact is, they were like, look, how are we going to do this, man? Like, what exactly are you expecting? And I was like, do you know what? I really don't know. I'd just like to have it documented. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the content. And then he was like, well, we normally do weddings, and when we go and get a groom ready, we do all like the getting ready pictures and that. So when we got him ready, they were like, oh, let's, like, get a picture of the shoes, getting him putting his outfit on and things like that. And Nick even put his Apple Watch on him. Bro, this geezer, yeah, literally, we put the thing on his sleeve, and bro, straight away he's like, bush.
Taking away what I was missing. Yeah,
I was like, listen, Bob, you want to stop that before you get your Uncle Nick in trouble, mate. Do you know what I mean? So no, like, very switched on. We took him down, and recently he's been walking loads in his walker. like we'll put trainers on him and he'll literally run in rings around the living room, into the kitchen, and all sorts, right? He won't crawl for love nor mercy, but he will run around in that walker all day. So generally what we do is, just to give him a bit more movement as well, is we'll hold him, like hold his torso and body, and we'll walk him, just make sure, like, let him walk and
Yeah.
direct the way in which he wants to go, but we'll support him. And bruv, this geezer came downstairs. He went from like the stair hallway entrance into the living room, takes a quick lap around, looks at everyone, runs out into the marquee, has a look around, runs back into the house, sees the ball pit, and he's like, "What is going on?" I literally, like, you feel so proud. Do you know what I mean? Like, normally he won't, like, I won't say lazy, but he's a little bit apprehensive. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, he won't be the first one to go running out and reach a hand out.
Yeah.
But that afternoon, bro, I think we caught him at the right time. He woke up from his nap around 3 in the afternoon, got him ready. And dude, I think the next time he went to sleep was about 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So it was a big session for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, normally he's
Wow.
in
That's
bed
a
by
long
7,
time.
7:30, right? So, but even Kalen, he must have been tired, bro. He was awake the whole time he was there.
So obviously we got a bit late because he was sleeping, so we don't want to wake him up. Um, but yeah, once he got there, and the reason I didn't want to wake him up is because I knew he would get cranky when we were there, and I wanted him to be
Fresh.
fresh and enjoying it. And you can ask anyone that was there, outside and inside. I think he was just going to everyone, walking around, looking at people, having
Bro,
a
the
little chat
level
with
of
them.
confidence that he's got now, and the way that
It's
he'll just walk up to people and just
just, but
act
you
as
try and
if,
pick him up, and it's no, that's it, no, don't touch me, don't.
yeah. He
Uh,
was like, I was like, do you want some sweets? He was like, nope.
no,
No, yeah, very hot. Nope.
don't. But you give him one of his shows on YouTube, or give him some like crisps or something. He was, yeah, happy. Yeah, I'll eat that. Yep, no problem.
And
But he was, yeah, he enjoyed himself. Like, it was perfect environment. He was free to roam around outside. He had the soft play inside. There was a few people that really looked after him. Manav was like really good with him.
it's
Like,
actually really,
great.
like, it's different to see that as well, right? Because,
Yeah,
like, I wasn't expecting the younger kids to get us involved. Well, when I say younger, I'm talking like, the 7 to 12-year-olds or whatever. But I wasn't really expecting them to be involved with the younger kids. I kind of thought they'd do their own thing or be sat on a
no,
phone and so forth. Yeah. But that really surprised me, the fact that, like, the kids were really involved with the other kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're
uh,
all having a blast together, which is great. Like,
I'm
it's so
properly looking
nice.
after them and everything. It's like a stressful few. You're like, well, they're looking after them. You know they're not going to get hurt or anything, because they're literally following them every step to make sure they don't walk into anything,
This
run
is it,
into
man.
anything. So I was like, yeah, this is chilling. Like, he was just so relaxed, and he loved it. He just, the soft play was such a good shout.
It was, man. Like, I was a bit nervous about that at the beginning, because I was just like, where are we going to put all this stuff? Like, because the soft play stuff, she said, like, Reshma was like, from the beginning, it has to go in the house. And I was like, right, where are we going to put all of it? And where are we going to get people to walk around? And, like, there's all these things you've got to think about, the health and safety aspects of it. We want to keep a clear walkway for people to come through the house, but you still got to have and anticipate kids running through exactly the same area in the soft play.
Hmm.
So obviously we had to do, like, move a couple of sofas around, move a sofa outside, and so forth. But it was like, the things that I want to discuss on today's show are a bit more about the informative side of when people are planning and what to expect, what to do, and things like that. Like, we planned so many different things to keep people busy that when it came to the cake cut, it was kind of like, oh, you know what? I don't really have a plan. Like, when it came to the cake cut, I was like, we've not discussed the song to play in the background. We've not discussed who's going to come up and feed him cake, if anything, or, like, how we're going to do pictures or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of hit me just as I was preparing to get the cake cut done. And I was like, but what do we do? And then Reshma was like, look, if we try and get everyone to come and feed him cake and things like that, he's just going to get overwhelmed. So, if we just do like ba dada, mum and dad, and then, we'll just try and capture candids and let him actually just enjoy himself, rather than pestering him to take pictures with everyone
Forcing
that
him,
he's there.
like, yeah, look, although one shout out was, and I don't know whose idea it was, but having Paddington Bear on top of the camera while those pictures were getting done
So
was a
basically,
shout.
when we go and film weddings, go photograph weddings. So we work with Dino Photo Video, Dino Jaran, for those of you that know. And essentially, one of the tricks that we use during the group photography session is we have a monkey that sits around the lens. We've also got a tiger that we call Taran, and there's a zebra as well. But essentially, it really works with not just the kids but the adults too, because it's like when you're on site, you're like, "Here, look at the monkey's tail," and they're like, "Oh my god, look, there's a little monkey teddy bear on the camera." And then before you know it, you've got everyone's attention. And so the Paddy Bear thing was just, okay, we don't have that today, but we've got a Paddy here, so let's give this one a try. And yeah, man, it fully worked. But that is actually a very good thing that you've picked up on there. Like, one thing that I fully recommend is that if you are going to do pictures yourself, or you've got a photographer coming in, you can get what you call lens huggers, and that's what these things are. They're literally circle, like a rubber band scrunchy inside of like the finished velour or whatever it is, but it goes around the lens, and the top bit you've got a monkey head, the bottom bit you've got like little legs and a tail dangling down. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, like it
No,
really does
I
work.
just think it was quite
Very smart.
quite a smart bit. Only because also that's something that he seems very close to, like his comfort zone in that sense. Like he
So basically,
wherever I saw it, he was holding it.
yeah.
So I
Now
was
that
like,
thing, that Paddy Bear was given to him. It was actually one of the very first soft toys that he got, the very first presents that he was given by his nanny, and he literally will he'll find it very difficult to go to sleep at night without Paddy Bear. Like, that Paddy Bear is his comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure your kids had a comfort. I'm sure plenty of other kids have comforters. He has comforters, but this Paddy Bear is the one bear. Like, if we ever lose him or leave him behind, yeah, I'm literally gonna pull out my hair, bro.
trick, innit? Order another one.
Is it
Not even
probably?
joking. Just order another one.
No, I know.
We've done that where we've left his at home once.
Yeah.
Luckily, we went to my sister's, and
Mm,
his is little. It's a little elephant, but it's got his
got you.
name and everything on there.
Yeah.
So he's got that one, and then he calls that Ellie, and then he's got a big one, which is Dumbo, and he calls that Big Ellie. So he knows the
Yeah.
difference. One's small, one's big.
Yep.
And we went to my sister's, and it got late, and we didn't have it with us, and
Oh,
we were like, "Oh, what do we do?" Don't panic. She luckily has a Dumbo at home.
yeah.
Perfect. Let's give it to him. So this is another Big Ellie. Take this one. And luckily, he just held it and went to sleep.
Yeah.
But my advice: buy another one. Keep it with you because you can't really get a set. At least with elephants, you can find a different kind of one here or there. With Paddington Bear, is quite unique. You're not going to find something that's very similar to it. So
There's so many different variations of Paddington Bear. It's actually
yeah,
jokes. And obviously this one is like newborn, early years. But yeah, no, to be honest, getting a second one of these Paddy Bears is actually probably a very wise idea. And once we finish the show, I might just go and do
just
that.
just go. Did you have to send one into nursery as well for him? Sorry, just off topic.
So no, we don't. And that's why I say he's got other comforters. Like, the other comforters we got him into a routine of when he was napping during the day, he was using the comforters. And obviously, you know what the comforters are like. They're like a rag cloth with a little head on top, right? So he's got two of those, three of those. So he understands when we're sending him to nursery, he's got his comforter. He understands, like, that's my daytime thing. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to the evening, though, bro, it's got to be a Paddy Bear. And if it's not a Paddy Bear, the comforters will work most days.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, the Paddy, bro, we'll look at him on the monitor at night and he'll be completely asleep. But all of a sudden, you'll just see one arm swing in the air and then Paddy just floating backwards. Oh, it's nuts, man.
That's not. They need that. They need that to sleep. Unless somebody else out there can tell us any other tricks that have worked with their kid, and if their kid's not even used one, it'll be interesting to know because most kids I've come across always have something they're holding
Yeah.
constantly. And I had when my kid was born, honestly, when Kaden was born, honestly, I didn't think he would have one. I thought he would just go sleep. He won't be but he's so addicted to this, where it's like, if he wants to go to sleep, he's like, I want to go to see Ellie.
Is
And he's
it?
like, where's Ellie? Okay, let's go upstairs. Let's
Oh,
bring him
cute.
up. And now he goes like this. He's like, and tries to put himself to sleep like this. And he's
Is
like, yeah,
it?
it's time to
Yeah,
go to sleep. And
Jaden
that's what
does
you
that
know.
to Paddy, bro. Jaden
Yeah.
literally, he's like tap, tap, tap
And
on
he's
the
like, oh,
shoulder.
it's time to go sleep now. I said, all right, cool. Let's take you out to sleep. But
Yeah. What's Kalen's telltale giveaway that, like, on this same subject, when he is tired and he wants to go to sleep, what's the telltale sign for you? Like, every kid has one.
so it's either he will say himself, Ellie,
Yeah.
which means all right, let's go.
Yeah.
We leave it a little bit longer, he starts rubbing his eyes. And we
Yeah.
leave it a little bit longer, and then you get Dennis the Menace come out of him.
Oh, is it?
And that is it. That's when you know, all right, cool, let's take him, because he will start getting really. That's why when we came on Saturday, we had to let him nap, because I didn't want him to get to that stage where he was
He's
on the way
overtired.
home. We thought he'll fall asleep because we had changed him, fed him milk, everything was done.
Too excited.
But he shouted the whole way home. He
Is
was
it?
having conversations with me the whole way, just screaming and shouting, just making noise. It was so funny. Because Priya's sitting there laughing. I'm trying to say, Caden, go to sleep. I'm like, Caden, it's time to go to sleep. Let's go to sleep.
Because you're like, when I get home, I want
And
to do something else. I don't want to
and
be putting you to
she
sleep.
and all she was, yeah, no, but she's laughing at him. I'm telling him to go to sleep because I'm like, it's easier for you. You have to put him to sleep when we get home, right? And because he was just being so funny, and she just started laughing, and she was hiding it from him because she couldn't show him that she was laughing, because then he would start laughing. If he sees
Yeah.
you laughing, he'll laugh with you.
I was
Because he
going to
won't
say,
know the
I'm sure
joke.
the laughter would have been encouragement for him.
Yeah, that's why she had to kind of hide behind us, because she was sitting at the front, right? So she was hiding behind her seat, making sure that he doesn't see. And I
Yeah.
was like, bro, I was like, come on, please go sleep for a little bit. Come on, let's go sleep. He's not having it. Luckily, when we got home, it didn't take too long, but he was just enjoying. He didn't want to leave, right? He'd enjoyed it so much, and he was just having fun with everyone. So he was like, no, I don't really want to leave. I'm happy to stay here a bit longer, but no, then you're going to not sleep all night. But
Mate.
it
It was
was
nuts though, man. Like, there was kids everywhere, bro. They were all getting along with each other. They were all having a nice little time.
yeah.
Like, and you know, some of those kids was the first time that they'd met one another. Do you know what I mean? Or a lot of those kids actually, because
It was a bit difficult, man. They were just running around, and you look around, and you're like, "Oh my god, I nearly walked into another one." And they just literally, and these kids they got so much energy, right? They're just sprinting up and down. I was like, "Yeah,
bro,
this is their life, man."
it
But
was sick. It was sick. Like, I could see them all watching, like playing hide and seek and stuff like that. And, you know, like we had the swing out in the garden. A couple of them were hiding behind the swing where
yeah,
the cover light hides them and things like that. It was jokes, man. So I wanted to ask you how you found the food, man.
food. Oh, let me think back to it. What was the food? Oh, so we had the paneer for starters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and was it kachori or samosas or both?
Yeah, both, man.
Both.
Both.
Yeah. That was all really nice. Really enjoyed it.
Obviously, with it being North and that, we had to have a vegetarian spread.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
I
was
had no complaints, because then I didn't feel like, I'm missing out on anything. So I was all right with that. I was very happy with that.
not,
And
I'm not gonna lie, bro. When everyone left and I finally got a chance to sit down and eat, I ordered a pepperoni pizza.
oh my god,
I had to, bro. I
disappointing.
was starving.
Your mother shouldn't have allowed it.
She wasn't awake.
What was I going to say? Who made the food? Was it homemade or?
No, it was ordered. It was catered.
Yeah,
It was quite reasonable in terms of cost wise. I was looking about £10 per plate. We had circa just under 100 people around, so it wasn't so bad. There's a gentleman called Geshavbai who we've used in the past.
yeah.
It's not someone that I'm very familiar with, although I've got to go and drop him some of his old dishes back at the weekend. So if I bump into the guy, I'll fill you in next week.
Now, food, honestly, even mains, the general butterada, all of that stuff, really good stuff. I had eaten too much when I left. I think I just
Bro,
eaten. I'd overeaten.
So we've been shopping for this party for weeks, yeah, and obviously the snack game has to be strong. Do you know what I mean? Whenever you throw a party at home, you always want to have a strong snack game in it. So literally, bro, like I'd bought like packs of Doritos, Pringles, like Tesco multi mixes, loads of sweets in like the small Haribo packets and all of that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, I got a load of crisps left, so
I was just about to say I did not see any crisp going around unless
nah,
you just
they were in the marquee on the table.
okay.
Yeah, and then I think once the starters got served, the snacks got forgotten about.
Because the sweets
Literally,
got
like,
moved onto the table with the starters.
well, whatever happened to the sweets? I didn't have any sweets left. I'll tell you that for
Oh,
free.
boy. I only had like one or two, I think.
One or two handfuls of packets.
You could say that. You could say that. I was just testing them out, right? Making sure it's all good for the kids.
Yeah, I'm sure they tasted really good, didn't it?
But I don't know why you put them out, man. Seriously, it was so addictive. Every time I walk past, I'd be like, "Oh, this one looks alright. Let's try this one." I
Innit?
went back. The bowl was empty. I was like, "All right, cool. Let's stop now. Innit? Like, there's nothing else left. You should be going."
But
That's
when
what
we were buying
also
the
filled me
sweets, I
up.
was saying to Reshma, I was like, "Are you sure you want to get this much sweets? I mean, it's a 1 year old's birthday party. Yeah, I get the adults will probably have it, but do you really want to send their kids home back like that?"
But yeah, I don't think any of the kids probably even got a chance to have them. I think all the adults were
I know,
on
right?
the
I know. A
sweets.
couple of kids had to got through some,
Yeah,
but yeah, man,
but
it was
it,
fun.
no, it was good. It was good. Well, if there's anything that you could have done differently, what would you have done?
For me, like looking back through all the pictures and things like that, like I've only had a look at or had the opportunity to look at one camera's like memory card out of the three that were on rotation that day. Um, and don't get me wrong, these pictures may be there, but I've only seen one memory cards and one camera's worth of pictures. But I think the one thing, if you're gonna like try and capture those memories, is send your photographer with your baby while the baby's being passed around or going around meeting people, because then you'll have the opportunity to have those pictures of the people that came to spend that time and interact with the kid, and you'll have that back there. Like there's probably loads of people that were at the party that I may not have a picture of, and you know generally when I'm behind the camera and it's our own event, you try and make sure you do as much as possible. When you've got your paid photographers there, they're on a timer, they've got a certain like request to fulfill, and generally they'll try and get the main bits covered. Do you know what I mean? But they're never going to know who your gaka is on your mum's side, who you definitely need to take a picture of. You know what I mean?
No,
And
it's
you
true.
as a guest may not necessarily have the time to devote to them to be like, okay, this is my uncle, get a picture of him, that's that uncle, da 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 da. So if you want those kind of things done, then you've got to be very vocal about it, make sure the person knows. The other thing I think is that I don't know, man. Like it's hard. There was so many things that we had looked at in terms of what to do. Like, so the marquee we wanted to put out, we were also concerned that it was 10 days into October, and generally we were looking at colder weather. I've got to say, the weather really held out for us that day.
Yeah,
We were blessed.
yeah,
Like it was probably like the warmest day that week.
pretty much warm,
Yeah.
and I think there was like drops, and I'm talking minimal drops of rain, quite late on into the evening.
Oh yeah, but that was well late, right?
But by then,
By the
everyone
time
was
that came.
inside.
Yeah. One thing we did do was buy like marquee heaters that you hang from the top of the marquee. They worked out really well. They were about £60 a piece. But I'd recommend buying something like that. They do work. They're well worth it. They're very fragile. There was one that arrived that we had to send back because it arrived broken. But we're talking like these UV lamp ones, like the ones that you get at like pub beer gardens and
Yeah,
cigarette smoking areas and that. They're those type of heaters, but they worked really well. What else is there? I mean, we didn't really have a DJ. We just put Spotify on in the background and let it run. Do you know what I mean? But it's a first birthday party. He wasn't really too bothered, and neither were the rest of the kids because they were
no.
well entertained with everything else going on around. The soft play that we had hired worked out really well. There are times where I was like, why did we even get this? There's hardly anyone here. And then there was like times of the day and night where it was just rammed and the kids were having a blast.
I
Do you know
think
what I
that
mean?
got used more
More so than
once
anything. Yeah.
once it got a bit dark outside. No one wanted to play outside. It got a bit cold, so all
This
the
is it.
kids came swarming in together, and literally that whole play area, especially even just I think from about 5 o'clock,
Yep.
5:30, maybe 6 o'clock onwards, that living room was just packed full of people
Exactly.
or kids just playing around on it. But it was fortunate. It's quite good because you've got a spacious garden. It's
Well, this is the
generally,
fortunate thing, and that's where we really lucked out because
yeah,
we've got that space to facilitate that foot traffic.
yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, you put in the request to put the basketball thing up, right? And it got some good usage. Like,
yeah, yeah,
um, but again, once it went dark, it was kind of redundant.
yeah,
The one thing that I will say, like, um, if we look at decorations, a lot of people recently have been buying like balloon arches and things like that, and balloon arches can work out so expensive when you're buying it like pre-made and done ready for you to go. Yeah. Like Reshma was fishing around for costs on that, and it was like 100, 200, 300 quid,
should
right?
have called me, man.
Whoa.
Would have done it. Would have
Like,
come around and done it in like literally 2 hours tops.
she did. She ordered the pack. She ordered like, we got the helium, she got the balloons, and basically what I never realized, yeah, is a lot of these balloon arches, the way that they work is you get a like a plastic tape with cutouts where you just
Yeah,
put the balloons into. I had
correct.
no idea.
Yeah, it's so simple. The concept is simple.
Bro. And you're like, and then when you're filling up the helium balloons, and literally, bro, you turn the tap, you plug it in, and you bend the thing down, and they auto seal, and you're like, like the foily ones, they
Yeah,
seal themselves
yeah,
automatically, and you're like, Jesus, this bloody easy. And before you know it, like if you think about it, if they're charging like £200 to £300 for your arch and that, the materials, don't be wrong, the materials can cost probably, if we work as an example of you pay £200 for your balloon arch, but your materials are going to be less than 50 quid. Do you know what I mean? And then it might take you an hour and a half to 2 to 3 hours to get that done.
yeah.
That's not a bad wage, bro, for 3 hours work.
But that's the thing, right? It is the time it takes.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when they do them and you do get them ready made, they do look a lot better than what we could kind of do at home. I'm not saying
But
what we
I'm
do
not
at
going to
home is
lie, yeah,
bad.
Reshma did a great job. I was
Yeah.
quite impressed.
No, mate, honestly, it's obviously they're doing it for a reason, right? I mean, obviously pay for it for a reason, right? Most of them
Yeah.
that do it, they look really good. And actually, I think the hardest thing we found, I don't know if you guys found it, was actually finding somewhere to put it on and hold it against.
Yep.
Because putting it together, that was the easy part.
That is exactly the easy part. But then trying to put it somewhere where it looks and feels right is a different part.
Yeah,
Like recently, I've been looking on Instagram, and there's a couple of accounts that I follow and come across, and they've just celebrated their son's first birthday or daughter's first birthday. And like, one of the things that people I've been seeing have been like spending a lot on these like balloons and backdrops and things, like LED, like neon signs saying happy birthday. Bruv, some of the backdrops that I've seen, like there was one that I see where they've got, like cut out ONE, big enough that they could put the cake on a glass like that was sitting on top of the one. And I was like, right, that looks sick. And you just like, where do you stop, bro?
no,
Do you know what I
that's what I
mean?
was just about to say, right? But I see it goes for any event. We're obviously going through it because our kid's first birthday. We went through it a few years back when we got married, right?
Mm,
Where do you stop? There's a market for everything now,
bro,
right?
trust me.
You pay the money and you've got the money sitting there. You can have
The
everything
question
and
is,
anything.
well, the way to put it is like, look, your kid is never going to remember their first birthday party. Their first birthday party is always about the adults, right? Whether they're rejoicing and want to share in the experience, or, like let the little man, like we were, meet the rest of the family and, be introduced to the world that is his family and friends. Like, there's just so many different avenues that you can go down, and being able to, like, if I'd have spent £600-700 on hire of a hall, that would have eaten into other budgets, and you're like, where do you go from there? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I feel bad for the people that are doing it on a shoestring budget. Like, remember what we was talking about last week, bro, where we was talking about party bags, and you
Well,
were like,
that's what my question. Next question was, what was the verdict for that in the end?
so at the moment, I think she hit the nail on the head. There's been no complaints. There's been no bad feedback. But put it this way: how did Kay find the things in his one?
So I don't think he's even been through it because he's not been too well, right, since that day or
Oh
even
no,
for a
how
couple of
come?
days. He's had a really bad cough, right? So I think he's
Mm,
just constantly just coughing and it's just winding him up more than anything else. And he chokes on his phlegm afterwards because he just gets
yeah.
too much cough. So he's
Mm.
just trying to get over that. But the one thing he did like were those breadsticks that were in there,
Oh,
and he
bro,
has demolished them.
is it
He has
okay?
demolished them. So I
So
need to go tomorrow and buy some more because he
yeah,
loves them.
so basically, a few weeks ago, we noticed in the app from the nursery that they'd been giving him breadsticks, and every time they give him breadsticks, he demolishes them like all. And so we said to them, look, like, where do you get these breadsticks from? Are you feeding him salt-free breadsticks? Because obviously, under the age of like 12 months, generally you want to give them as little to no salt in their diet. So they were just like, oh, we get these ones from Sainsbury's, they're salt free and da 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 da. And then obviously we were looking at the packaging. We come to see like obviously breadsticks in themselves generally have such little amount of salt in them that they seem to be okay. And so when we were looking at things that we could put in the party bags, Reshma was like, oh, they'll be tired once they're finished or, on the way home and so forth. So let's pack some breadsticks. Mate, that party bag was just filled with toys and food.
Yeah, but it worked. It
Yeah.
worked. It was perfect, right? And you don't need much more for a 1 year old.
But
That's
if she had her way, she would have put some more sweets in there for the adults.
but that's the only thing I was going to say that was missing was a few of those refreshers and the sour ones. All of those, I didn't get any of those. I thought I'd get a takeaway bag of those. So
Oh, bro, if
Resh,
they're
make
there,
sure you keep
if,
that ready.
if they're still there, bro, I'll send it down to you, man.
That was the best thing about it. But no, look, to be honest, look, like you said, there isn't anything that you could. There isn't a line to stop at these events.
There isn't
We
really.
have
It
to
just
draw the
depends on,
line.
yeah, you've got to draw that line. It just depends on how much you're prepared to spend and where you want to call it quits,
That's
right?
and we do get a bit excited, right? It's our first kid. It's their first
But
birthday.
don't get me wrong. Like the other thing was like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law Vimo and Anisha from their children, Kush and Aiden, they gave they put in an order for biscuits and they gave biscuits out to everyone. And I don't know if you had any of these biscuits, bro, but oh my days,
No, I've seen them.
basically,
They are here, but I haven't eaten them.
bruv, go and
Should
have
I?
like if you were closer to the living room, I'd literally tell you right now, just go and get one. Like
I will get one.
if you can message Priya to bring you one up so I can see
She's
your
not.
reaction live on air.
She's not around. Otherwise, I definitely would have.
Oh, bruv, today's the day she's working, isn't it?
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have
Oh,
said, "Can you please deliver me some
honestly,
biscuits?"
like I'm saying, like tell your dad to bring you one up. Honestly, you'll
I'll
demolish,
do it. I'll do it after this, and I'll try and
bruv.
save some for next week.
I'm saying I've demolished about 2.5 packs, like, and each pack will go in one sitting. Like
Wow.
they're literally like vanilla shortbread biscuits, yeah, like buttery biscuits, and oh my days. So they ordered that from you can find on Instagram Sweets and Treats or Bavika Sweets and Treats. We'll put it in the description so that you guys can find that. But she made the cake as well. And so one of Jaden's things at the moment, and the whole theme for that, the party decorations was cocoa melon. It's the biggest thing that he's into, and more likely to be the only thing you can recognize instantly. But bruv, honestly, like that cake that she made, it looked amazing. It tasted amazing. Like we didn't even have any of it left. Normally you go like you'll throw a party and you're like got half the cake left and you're like, what am I going to do with all of this in it? This
Oh, it was
cake,
all gone.
bro, it was all gone. And the only thing that was left at the end of it was a little bit of icing sugar.
Who made the other cake?
The eggless one.
Yeah,
Again, Bhavika as well. Bhavika
that
and my
was
boy,
that was
Pramila.
really nice.
So they made the biscuits and both cakes, and from the feedback that we got from that was just amazing. So, if anyone's out there looking, then please hit them up. You'll find them on Instagram and Facebook. And that was the cake and that side of things. And should we get onto the presents?
One question before we move to that.
Go on.
Actually, no, I'll save that question. Let's move to the presents. I'll give you the question at the end. Go
Cool.
through the presents.
Do you want to write it down before we forget?
No, I won't forget. I won't forget.
Good, 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 man. Right, presents wise. shopping for a first birthday present is extremely ridiculously difficult. And we know because we did it the week before for my friend Sundip's kid, Ane. Ane and Jaden are born 10 days apart. So we went to Ane's birthday party the week before. Luckily, German told us that, they're just interested in some Amazon vouchers so that they can get a couple of things for Ane, which worked out for us because it meant that like we'd looked anyway for weeks beforehand to be like, what can we get him? What can we get him? And I was like, Resh, just think, Jaden's 10 days behind him. What kind of things are we needing for Jaden right now? And she was like, I don't know, or X and Y and Z. And then long story short, like, it's so difficult to know what to buy. Like, even as his parents, we didn't know what to buy him. Like, I bought him clothes, I bought him trainers, I bought him like a snapback. We bought him, like a little DIY set. What do you give them? And then you've got to think, will they have enough storage space if I buy him a present and a gift that he can play with? And then it's like, how big should I get this gift? Bruv, the geezer got like 2 or 3 ride-ons, including yours. Thank you very much.
No worries, bro.
He got.
They're the ones that are hard to store.
But this is what I mean, isn't it?
That's why you got the space. You got the space. Don't worry about it.
No, I haven't, bro. I haven't. My dad's going to kick me out to make the space.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do.
But now, like, you've got the ride-ons, you've got the soft play toys. Bujamati, she got him like basically one of those soft play areas, but just like a pop-up travel like ring which he can sit in. We can put the balls in. He can have a little blast. There's so many things he got. Like both my granddad and my nanny bought him gold chains. The geezer's balling, bruv. Like, he's balling.
Living life.
Yeah, man. Like, bruv, check this out, yeah? So my brother-in-law's mum and sister and them lot, they bought him a Michael Kors jacket. Bruv, do you know what I mean? A Michael Kors jacket. But how many kids do you know with a Michael Kors jacket, bro?
You need to get some pictures with that before he gets too big for it and it doesn't fit him after that.
Mate, like, he's got 6 months in it. It's an 18-month thing. But, apparently the geezer's quite tall for his age as well. So that's the other thing. But yeah, man, like, he made out like a bandit, bruv. Definitely made out like a bandit.
Did you get his reactions that you wanted for opening the presents? Or did he not give you the time of day of it?
To be honest, I filmed him doing it. Some of them he gave a reaction. Some of it he was just more in tune to playing with the wrapping paper. And we did get him to a point where he understood that we wanted him to open the presents and things like that. And like some toys, like, honest to God, when he got into that little soft play thing, bruv, and like Reshma was just throwing the balls around, and like, if I can get a clip ready for next week, I'll get it ready so that we can show it out, bruv, man. It was just so nice to see and hear that smile and laughter from him. Like, can't describe that feeling, man.
See, I can't wait till Christmas. I felt that Caden wasn't too bothered about the presents on his birthday or last Christmas. I'm hoping this time around he's actually bothered by it.
He'll be a bit more in tune to what is going on, isn't it?
Now let me see what's under those presents and let me just rip it all open and cause a mess. I'm hoping this Christmas. Wait, saying that Christmas around the corner, we've got to start shopping for Christmas presents now.
Bruv, forget Christmas, mate. We've got to get past Diwali first.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that altogether. That's only, 3 weeks to go as well.
Bro, trust me. Have you got an outfit for him to wear for that?
It depends on what's going on, because we've got a wedding that weekend. So
really?
I don't know if anything's going
basically,
to be...
so it's Diwali on the Thursday, New Year on the Friday, innit?
Yeah. And that weekend is on the Sunday, we've got a wedding. So we're probably going to be busy that Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to even have time to do anything or what's going to happen. So just plan that closer to the time. So his outfit will be close for the wedding.
Well, my mum and dad bought him a lovely little kurta outfit with like a top jacket and some gold bottoms and that. So he's gonna look dapper, man.
I'm
just excited, bro. Yeah, man. If I'm allowed to, I'll get him to wear his Air Force Ones with it as well, just to look a little hip.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Bruv, they'll match, honestly.
Does it go, yeah? But
I mean, they might go with one jacket, but so basically, they bought him two jackets. It's like a white and gold or beige and gold, and one's like a turquoise and gold.
okay,
I'm pretty confident that we'll put him in the turquoise and gold with the gold bottoms. Just let him shine out on that.
yeah,
Who knows? We might even get him a pair of Modries, but obviously that's for the house. I'm sure it's going to be cold as we're doing the rounds.
yeah. Man, I don't even wear modries anymore, man.
No, actually, so
I got loafers.
saying all of that, I just had a question for you before it slips my mind. So generally when we celebrate Diwali, like back in the day, and even when I was younger, like my parents, they'd book the day off work. We'd all get together at my granddad's, and we'd be there from morning till evening. And I know we discussed this last year, but just refresh my memory. What is it you guys do on Diwali?
So obviously, things have changed over the years. We used to all kind of get together as a family, one household, generally on the weekend, and fireworks, food, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
We always go Monday on New Year's, um, but obviously, as times have gone on, everyone gets busy and families
Which
grow and
Monday
all the
was
rest
it they
of it.
used to go to?
So we used to do Neasden.
Really?
Yeah. Back in the
Any of
day,
you Neasden crew here, yeah, watching in the comments, give us a thumbs up.
and also shout us for like getting queue jump. No, I'm joking. Now we got to a point where that queue was way too long, right?
Mm.
And then I was like, no, we're not doing it. And then for the last couple of years from work, we've sponsored the one they've made in Chigwell, New Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in our Monday. So then we've been going there because we've been called to go there because we sponsor,
Right.
etc. So they call us in there.
Because they give
So
you
we've
queue
had
jump, yeah?
not pretty much, but we don't ask for it, but it just happens, right? But obviously the
He's
last
like,
few,
bye, our sponsor is here.
yeah, please come through, like, and they take you on the stage, put the heart on you and everything, right? So it's proper like,
Really?
yeah, proper VIP treatment, right?
Right.
But also awkward because everyone is watching you at that point, right? So
Yeah.
you're just like, wow, okay, no, we don't need this. But generally, that's what we do on New Year's Day. But yeah, for the last few years, I take off Diwali, New Year's, um, and we just go
And so
a
will you be
couple of
doing that
families'
this year as well?
houses and so. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100. The benefit is obviously look working from home as well. You know, if I have things to do that's really really urgent, obviously look, I can get it done, right? No problems. So in that sense, I can log in if I need to, but generally I will take that time off
Yeah.
just to kind of, if we want to go families' houses, and obviously definitely look this year we'd see it as we've got a wedding to go to on the weekend. If we
Yep.
need to go to family's house and stuff, we can at least do that on the
During the week.
actual
Yeah.
days. Yeah, obviously, bearing in mind people will need to be home for that, but obviously we can see that closer to the time.
Nice. And for those of you that are watching and following us on the show, if you celebrate Diwali, do you take the time off to spend the time with your loved ones? Is that something not feasible for you? Do you have any plans for this year? Let us know in the comments section. One thing that I'm very wary of is we are still at that time of Norta.
Yes.
We are all preparing for our evening arti. I know that you have to vacate the room that you're in to do so.
Vacate the premises very, very swiftly. Get the room back in order.
Yeah. So you said you had one question for me before we finish
right?
up.
So you've done your first birthday, quite, in really quite a decent grand style. It didn't go too OTT, but it definitely would have, set you back a little bit. Do you plan to do this every year? Or
Oh.
have you already set yourselves which birthdays you guys have you decided between you and Rush to say, we want to celebrate X, Y, and Z going forward?
Not really. We've not really had that conversation. I think like literally as soon as the party finished, I was like, right, so what is it you want to take my money for next? And June was like, I want to go on a holiday. I was like, above that can wait till next year, man. But no, like recently one of my cousins announced his engagement. There's a whisper he may be looking to get married next year, and that will be out of the country. He's not actually based in the UK. And so I think Jaden's first holiday may be his wedding.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Depending on where in the world.
Well, I was going to say, any destinations that have been thrown out there?
Not even, bro. Like, I'm saying that he proposed like 2 weeks ago, and he's still recovering from his proposal, I think.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, congratulations to him, and hopefully you guys get a holiday out of it and get to take
Bro, I'm
Jaden
hoping
away.
so, man. Hoping so for
And
sure,
that's it.
bro.
That's it. Because I think, yeah. Also, you don't have to pay anything till he's two, right? So make the most of it while you can.
Well, this is it, man. So, funnily enough, this conversation I had with some of the mums that came round at Jaden's birthday from the nursery, and I was like, "Have you guys managed to get away with your kids or anything like that?" And they were like, "Nope, nowhere, not a thing, not even a like Airbnb and that." So I was like, "Well, like we want to make use of this free seat before the age of 2 kind of thing,
Yeah.
while it's still running." And they were like, "Yep, for sure, definitely." I think it's on a lot of people's
I
agendas.
think they should extend it for COVID babies, man, for another year. Give
I
us the time to get there.
wish. I wish. They've robbed us of everything else, bruv. They're gonna rob us of that as well.
Have you done his passport?
Nah. What for, bruv? He's not even going part like
It's
outside of
true.
London and Leicester.
It's true. It's
Uh,
true. It's true.
the furthest he's been is Leicester at the moment. So,
Yeah, that's a long. That's a long journey, man. That's a very long journey.
but to be honest, like obviously we did it 2 weeks ago. We did a day trip, and bruv, he was blessed. Fell asleep on the way up there. Woke up like 20 minutes before we got in, and then on the way back played around for 15, 20 minutes, spent the rest of the journey asleep.
That's
uh,
amazing.
yeah, man, what can I say? He loves the 5 series, bruv. Get yourself a 5 series and your kids
It's
will love to
comfort.
sleep.
Comfort. That's it. Might have to get a little car upgrade.
Oh, maybe, man, maybe. But yeah, man, um, I kind of have run out of things to say.
No, that's it. No, that was my question. So yeah, no, let me know which years you guys do decide on, and we'll see if we can
I
see if
mean, so just in short, to try and answer that before we do jump off, I would probably say like the first one that they're going to properly remember is between like the age of 3 and 4, or like 3 or 4, right? So it's probably a good idea to do it then. Like, one thing that I remember is my 3rd birthday, I think it was, where I woke up one morning, my parents got me ready, I was sitting on the sofa, all of a sudden the doorbell rings, and it was my friend Nirav. And then the doorbell rings again, and it's my friend Anish. And like before I know it, there's like a couple of cousins there, and before like, all of a sudden there's like 6 of you, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Do you know what I mean? Because at that age, you're not aware of your
no.
birthday. You don't know nothing, right? You've got no clue. And all of these people turn up, and then all of a sudden it's about you, and you're chilling and you're having jokes. So I'd probably say 3 or 4 is definitely the age for celebration for a child to remember.
Interesting. Not long to go. You better get start planning, mate.
No, but like that one is not going to be like no whole family. Like, it's literally going to be like people from his nursery, his friends and family, like his friends and like
Yeah,
cousins and so forth, because it will be about him. It won't be about us having a drink or like
yeah, that's it.
meeting up after 2 years apart and stuff like that. I hope.
No,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, hope not. All
but
right,
no,
bro.
man, like
Well,
the world has changed.
yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, on that note, we shall be back next week. Same time, same place,
Yep, we
hopefully.
certainly will. And what I would like to do is say 2 more things. First of all, thank you guys very much for staying tuned and watching us for the rest of the duration of this show. Secondly, if you could like, follow, and subscribe to the channel, then you will help us build a broader base of people that we can speak to on a regular basis about problems and challenges that we face in today's climate as parents. But on that note, Bath, thank you very much again for your time this week, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Good night. Peace out.